Who's the next extension priority for the Baltimore Ravens? We're going to go over all the options and list them in priority. We're also going to talk about why I think Jay Higgins is the next undrafted free agent gem and how intelligent of a football player he is. We hear from Chuck Pagano, who says this is the best secondary that he has ever coached in his career. And I also want to discuss the Ravens' offensive line depth on the practice squad, all that and more in today's episode of the Flock Rundown.
Ravens Flock Rundown is the place to be.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate you guys, all the love that you've been showing the channel. We've been growing super fast. Shout out to the members of this channel. It's an extra way to support the channel. You get a little icon next to your name, and it progresses as the months go. Also going to start doing monthly giveaways to the members. I did that a few months ago where I'd randomized spun the wheel, and Carly ended up winning that. I ended up getting a Ravens hat from her from the Ravens store. This month, or September coming up, next week, I'll probably do the randomizer. I'm going to do a Ronnie Stanley signed photo. I won this in a Ravens auction and figured I'd just give that away and ship that to somebody. So all of the members, I'll do a randomized wheel next week, and I'll do it on the episode and get your contact information and shipping information for whoever wins. But appreciate you guys so much. Also, we'll be going live every Monday at 7 p.m. throughout the entire season with Noah from For the Flock, so cannot wait for that. Stoked for that. I'll go live a couple other days throughout the week as well and bring on random guests like I usually do, but me and Noah are going live every Monday starting the Monday after the Bills game. So not this Monday coming, but the following week, and then all through the season and hopefully to the Super Bowl. So can't wait for that. Appreciate you guys with all the support, man. We've been growing this channel so much, and I can't do it without you guys, man. It means the world, so thank you so much. But let's dive into today's topics. I'm going to start with some general updates. Found out that Jalen Armour-Davis and Brade had multiple claims on the waivers. Jalen Armour-Davis was claimed by the Titans, Saints, Dolphins, and Eagles. Obviously, the Titans had priority. They won that. And then Brade was claimed by the Giants and Jaguars. So that just goes to show how desired these guys were. You know, most of the guys don't get claimed. A lot of teams just want their players back, and they're not really out there looking for other teams' players. But Brade and Jalen Armour-Davis were two guys that were highly regarded across the rest of the NFL, especially Jalen Armour-Davis. So wishing those guys the best of luck, man. They're obviously not going to be back in a Ravens uniform, at least anytime soon. And the Ravens, I think, might have let those guys slip away, but had to make some sacrifices to keep those undrafted free agents that they obviously love. We might see some number changes too with a lot of the roster fluctuation. I know number 5 is definitely a desired number, what Jalen Armour-Davis used to have, so we'll see. I've seen a lot of people saying Mike Green should switch to 5. I'd be down for that. I just wouldn't be surprised if there's some number switches. Tyler Huntley is officially wearing number 17. He was at practice yesterday, so we got a few shots of that. It's just good to see him back in a Ravens uniform, man. I like him as the emergency third quarterback. I saw this comment from Jake yesterday, and I wanted to expand on this more because I didn't talk about this yesterday when I was discussing the practice squad. He said, "Hey Ryan, huge Ravens fan from the UK in the 11th season. Love your coverage of the team. Appreciate you. I was wondering what you thought about the decisions on the practice squad O-line guys. Losing Dellinger and Dalcourt for Samac and Penning seems like an odd decision." So the Ravens signed 3 offensive linemen to the practice squad. That's center Nick Samac, guard Jared Penning, and tackle Gerard Christian Lichtenhahn. So they didn't bring back Dalcourt, who I believe is not signed anywhere else right now, but they also didn't bring back Dellinger, and they were trying to bring back Dellinger, but he decided to sign with the Cleveland Browns. Jeff Zrebiec said that the Ravens were making an attempt to bring him back, but he officially signed with their practice squad. So he's not on their active roster. He chose to go to the Browns over the Ravens. I guess that's just due to opportunity. Maybe he wants to only play left guard. That's the only thing I can really think of, because the Ravens do have Voorhees and probably want Voorhees to develop at left guard for the next few years. Right guard seems to be wide open unless it ends up going to Emory Jones Jr. I know this year it's Daniel Fa'alele, but he's a free agent next year. And with a lot of the concerns that we've had with Daniel Fa'alele's inconsistent play. I don't know if that's an extension candidate. We're going to talk about extensions here in a second, but I don't think Fa'alele is at the top of the Ravens list of guys to extend. I would imagine he gets a McCary type deal and ends up just leaving next offseason, and then right guard's going to be wide open again. Emory Jones Jr. definitely in that conversation, but he's a big unknown right now. We haven't seen anything, so we don't know. And the Ravens are lacking a little bit of O-line depth. I think that next year's draft's going to be big. Maybe next year in free agency is going to be big. I definitely think the Ravens are going to have to address the interior of that offensive line. And it is an interesting decision that Dellinger did not decide to come back to the Ravens. So it's not that the Ravens didn't pick Dellinger. They did. He just chose to go elsewhere. So the Ravens, I think, kept who they could. The only one they might have not decided to keep was Dalcourt. And I don't really know the ins and outs of that decision. He hasn't signed anywhere else as far as I know. He probably will end up on someone's practice squad. But the Ravens did keep 3 offensive linemen, and they were trying to keep their 7th-round pick, Dellinger. It just didn't work out. So I don't love the depth there. I definitely hear you. I don't think it was much of a Ravens decision, though, to not choose Dellinger. It's just that he didn't want to be here. So it is what it is, man. I think the Ravens are definitely going to have to continue to add to that offensive line depth and get a long-term answer at right guard starting next year. The NFL season is finally here, and this year I've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook to bring you an incredible offer. If you're a new customer, you can bet just $5 and get $300 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. Sign up, place a $5 wager, and DraftKings will give you $300 in bonus bets to use right away. Just make sure you sign up using my promo code TFR. DraftKings Sportsbook is for players 21 and older and available in most states. Please gamble responsibly, and when you do sign up, make sure you use code TFR to get your $300 in bonus bets. But let's talk who the next extension priority should be for the Ravens. The Ravens have a ton of free agents next year. Tyler Linderbaum, Isaiah Likely, Dafe Owe, Travis Jones. I mean, those are just the highlights. There's a lot of depth free agents there as well. Fa'alele, obviously, Tylan Wallace, DeAndre Hopkins, Jair Alexander, Awuzie. I mean, there's a ton of free agents next year. Who is the priority for the Ravens to extend? We also have to restructure a Lamar Jackson deal. He's not a free agent next year, but he has a $75 million cap hit. The Ravens are going to have to extend him and move that money around. I don't think Lamar is the ultimate priority because he's under contract, and I just imagine that it's going to get done. He's got plenty of years left. The Ravens aren't going to move on from Lamar Jackson. So, whether that extension happens here in the next week or so or during the season at some point or next offseason, I'm 100% sure Lamar Jackson extension is going to get done. It's going to get figured out. He's not a free agent anyway. There's no risk there. I don't think that is the ultimate priority, although it is on the list. I personally think the priority is Tyler Linderbaum first, and that is because we didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and he's a free agent next year. So he's going to hit the open market. Now, I'm sure they would try to avoid that, like they did with Ronnie Stanley. They got that deal done right before free agency started, and if we don't get a Tyler Linderbaum extension done this year or this offseason, which there's not much of the offseason left here, so if that doesn't get done this year, it has to get done before free agency starts, or I think Linderbaum's going to get a mega deal. We saw a rumor from Ricky Scoops that said Tyler Linderbaum isn't expected to sign a new deal unless the Ravens offer an extension worth $20 million a year, which would definitely make him the highest paid center in the league. That would pass Creed Humphrey. I've seen some chatter in the fan base whether Tyler Linderbaum's worth $20 million or not. I think we got to keep Tyler Linderbaum. I think life without Tyler Linderbaum and going with a guy like Bullock or trying to move on to someone else is a mistake. I think Tyler Linderbaum is the answer there. So I think that's the next priority. I don't know what the exact number is going to be. It might be $20 million at that point, especially if it's done next year, because that'll be multiple years. The cap does go up, the price goes up, and Tyler Linderbaum's a top 2, top 3 center in the NFL. So it only makes sense that he probably would be the highest paid. I think he will probably pass Creed Humphrey. Do the Ravens have the money to do it? Yeah. but they're going to have to sacrifice not paying some other guys. I think extensions for Travis Jones, Odafe Owe are up in the air. I think Travis Jones is also a very important extension that I would love to see get done, but are the Ravens going to invest that much in the defensive line? They just signed Matabike to a huge deal. Travis Jones is next up. He's going to get a mega contract, especially if he breaks out like everyone thinks he's going to. And then Odafe Owe. I think Odafe Owe is probably the one guy that we let walk. I just think he's going to price himself out, and you can't pay all of these guys $20+ million. You can't pay Kyle Hamilton, which we just paid, Tyler Linderbaum, Odafe Owe, Travis Jones, Isaiah Likely's going to get a nice contract. It's just impossible to pay all of them. I would say Owe is probably the most likely to walk and get a big deal somewhere else. We just got Mike Green. I think Mike Green is an emerging superstar in this league, and I just don't see the Ravens paying Owe. Travis Jones up in the air for me. I personally think we have to sign him, but I don't know if we will. I just don't know if the money will be there. Isaiah Likely, that contract should be a lot more reasonable, so I do see an extension getting done with Likely. I think we don't get an extension done with Mark Andrews, and he probably walks. But the priority for me is Tyler Linderbaum, then probably Travis Jones, Isaiah Likely, Lamar Jackson in that order, and everyone else is if we can pay. I'd love to keep a Jair Alexander. I'd love to keep an Owe if we can. I just don't know if, we're not going to have an unlimited amount of money here, and we're already using void years and pushing the can down the road a little bit. So we'll see how it plays out. I just think that Tyler Linderbaum is a pressing deal that needs to get done as soon as possible. Jay Higgins spoke to the media yesterday, and this guy has gem written all over it, man. I feel like not only is his play on the field, but just hearing him talk, his mentality, his confidence, and I feel like that paired with what we've already seen on film in the preseason has got me thinking that he is going to push for some serious minutes later in this season. I don't think right away he's going to get a huge opportunity, but I think he's truly going to be battling with Teddy and eventually possibly Trenton to get some serious minutes, man. I'm just super impressed with everything I've seen with Jay Higgins. He talked about his knowledge of the game and just his feel and experience, and I really think that's all going to come into play. We know he's not the most athletic guy. That's why he didn't get drafted. He had a poor combine testing results. He's not the fastest guy, not the strongest guy. He's not the freak athlete. But man, does he know how to play football.
My career's got it's got loops. It's like cycles around. Recruited, not really recruited out of high school. From Indianapolis, Indiana. Didn't get an IU offer. Didn't get a Purdue offer. That means a lot from a Indianapolis football player. I'm 40 minutes from, those campuses. And so Iowa was my first Big Ten offer. Go to Iowa, sit for 3 years, true junior, watching other people play. Then I play, I do everything I possibly can do. And, people tell you it's not enough. So, all I can do is focus on me, focus on, running the ball, tackling the ball, and getting better every day. And usually things tend to work themselves out.
Jay, one more, please. I'm curious, Zach Orr talked about how a lot of college linebackers these days are like athletes who get moved to linebacker late in their career. You've just been a linebacker. How do you think that got you to this point, and what does being an inside linebacker mean to you?
I think the game's changed. I mean, dudes are athletic. I mean, you can get a 6'4" guy who's 225 now, and he used to play safety. I think that's just a testament to guys getting bigger, faster, stronger every year. But I mean, I think the game's won in the X's and O's. I'm not the biggest guy. I'm obviously not the fastest guy. But I think there's a feel for inside zone. Like there's a feel for pin pull. Like you got to feel those things. And maybe it's because I went to Iowa and I played with I see fullback and Linderbaum and big guards for 5 years. But there's something about just feeling the offensive line and who they're working up to, and when that guard's pulling, you just gotta feel those things. And it's cool because Roquan talks like that. he can't really explain why he did what he did every single time, but he has a really good feel of what's going to happen and how the play is going to develop. And I think that's what makes a good linebacker.
We also heard from Chuck Pagano the other day, who said this is the best secondary that he has coached in his entire coaching career.
37th year in coaching, 19th in the National Football League. This is as good a group as I've been around in those 19 years in the National Football League. One thing they don't miss, like talent levels, but they don't miss on like the football character of the guys that come in here.
If the majority of the guys stay healthy throughout the season, this is the best secondary the Ravens have had in history. I mean, we are stacked at every level. The additions of Jair Alexander and Awuzie to the cornerback room, we still got second-year guys like Nate Wiggins, who's going to really emerge, in my opinion, and TJ Tampa as a depth piece, and then Marlon Humphrey, who had one of his best years last year. I really think that this is the strongest corner room we've ever had, and then the safeties, man. The safety depth, drafting Malachi Starks in the first round, everything we've heard from him, everything we've seen. I know it's a small sample size in the preseason, but this guy's the real deal, man. And then we know what we got with Kyle Hamilton. This is the best secondary the Ravens have ever had. I agree with Chuck Pagano, and I just cannot wait to see this defense out there on the field. I think this defense is going to get a lot more turnovers, cause a lot more problems, literally starting week one. I mean, we saw how that defense was flying around in the preseason. That was the backups. The starters are going to be flying around at an even higher level. And I think the starters are a lot more experienced and smarter, so they're going to play even more disciplined, but also fly around at the same pace. I love what Zach Orr did this preseason, and I don't even think that he showed a lot. You're not going to show your cards in the preseason. I think Zach Orr, with his disguised blitzes, his multiple coverage, just how versatile this defense can be. I think this defense literally can be the top defense in the NFL, top 5 at least, but I don't see why they can't be number 1. I think our pass rush got a lot better, and paired with how stacked this secondary is, this defense is going to cause some problems this year. Also just saw that Mike Green bought his mom a house. This is a pretty cool message too that he typed out. He said, from living in every part of the burg, from staying with people, from hotel to hotel, from Section 8, from years with no home, you always made a way to satisfy us. I told you many times since a kid, I'll buy you your own house, and we are here years later standing on business. Many more blessings to come, but definitely my biggest milestone. I'm proud to be your son. You deserve it. Love you, mama. This is awesome, man. I could not be more excited about the addition of Mike Green. I knew we were getting a super talented player that should have went a lot higher in the draft, but everything we've seen from Mike Green on and off the field since he's been here has been just impressive. This guy's going to push very early in the season for some serious minutes. I don't know how you keep him off the field. He's great against the run, which he's going to get a lot better too as he gets stronger and more experienced. And then his pass rushing moves and skills already are way beyond his years. I think he is coming in as the most talented Ravens pass rusher, and look how much room he has to grow. He's a rookie in the NFL. He's going to get way better than he is right now, and look how good he already is, man. I can't wait to see him out there. I think he's going to make an impact throughout this season. He's going to be out there. He's going to be playing often. And just shout out Mike Green, man. I'm so happy he's a Baltimore Raven. But that's it for today, guys. Just wanted to come on here, go over some updates, talk about the extensions. Let me know what you guys are thinking about everything. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the Flock Rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.